You were absent. Why were you absent?
Yesterday I came from home.
You came from home. Okay. Gracie, right? Garima. Tell us what we were, you were late. Tell us what we were doing in class yesterday. Something. What were we reading? Which paragraphs? Which ideas? What's your name? Juliet. Why you are not able to tell me anything? Were you present in class? Tell us what we were reading in class yesterday.
We were discussing paragraph 7 to 11.
Paragraph 7 to 11. What is there in paragraph 7, Amit?
I have no idea. I only remember from 8 to 11.
8 to 11. Can you tell what is in paragraph 8?
Lisa Davis advised her fellow Americans, that to learn others' culture if they want to win foreign friends.
Okay, that's towards the end, right? What is in paragraph 7?
It's about continuum of cultural space.
Okay, what is cultural continuum? Which is in paragraph 7. What is cultural continuum?
I don't know.
You have no idea. Were you present in class yesterday? No. So, yesterday we began from paragraph 7, which I had actually taught before the vacations, where we talked about the idea of cultural continuum, the concept of high contact cultures and low contact cultures. Then we moved on to paragraph 8, where we talked about how people use space in United States, and we said they have a sort of zone of privacy. 18 inches is private zone, and if you come within that distance, they are quite uncomfortable. We also read about how British people who are low contact people, they were trained to stay close to Arabian friends who are high contact people. Then the Arabian friends had the impression that the British people are nice, good people, because they were staying close. And then we read further that when we are using space rightly, no problems arise, but when somebody misuses space, we become quite alert and we become suspicious about why they are too close or too far, right? And then we read about how women use space, and I said that in the thesis statement there is a problem, because in the thesis, first clause talks about culture, second clause talks about groups within country, only third clause talks about women, whereas in the essay, after discussing culture, Davies talks about women. So the order of ideas in the thesis and the order of ideas in the essay is not the same. That's the fault with this writing of this essay. Then we said that women feel nice if they stay close, and when you make two women stay distant, then they will feel that their partners are cold and rejecting. Then we also talked about men, for example, right? We said that whereas women like to be close when they talk, men like to maintain distance, right? And then we said that men and women use space quite differently, right? And then we came to paragraph 10, where we talked about the second clause of the thesis, where it says that how people use space is not the same even within a single country from culture to culture. And we read example of Soviet Union, where we saw how the Estonians are very low contact people. The writer Robert Sommer says that he went to hands around even in Baltic region, and nobody was willing to touch each other's hand. So Estonians are very low contact people, and they are compared to Russians who are very high contact people. Now the point to understand is here, very important point is that what this essay is trying to do is that the essay is showing when somebody from one culture interacts with another fellow from another culture, and when the two parties use space differently, but when one party is not aware about the other and the other party is not aware about this party, how they use space, then this can bring confusion. For example, Estonians stay away from Russians, then Russians always try to be close to Estonians. So Estonians feel that Russians are always chasing you, they're always after you. And Russians feel that Estonians are very cold. This is the confusion, this is the misunderstanding that arises when we are not aware about how other people use space, and this is something undesirable. Then we came to paragraph 11, where we read about United States, how this uses space. For example, para 10, we talked about Soviet Russia. Para 11, about America, where we saw how the Caucasian teacher becomes quite suspicious when the Asian student averts her eyes down while talking to him, because the Caucasian teacher feels that if you have not done anything wrong, you should look into the eyes of the people you talk to. But in Asian culture, the culture teaches that when you are talking to people senior to you, out of respect, you look down, right? So the Caucasian teacher doesn't know this thing about the Asian student, and the Asian doesn't know this thing about the Caucasian teacher. As a result, there is a confusion or misunderstanding. The teacher wrongly thinks that the student has done something wrong, and she's trying to hide it, right? Then in paragraph 11 itself, we quickly saw a table, right, where we saw how we saw the pattern of space using North American cultures, right? We saw under four headings, kind of talk, intimate talk. For example, if somebody is having intimate talk, then they will be either touching each other or at the most 18 inches distance, American. Then what kind of talk will they have? This may be a private talk about romance, love. This may be people who are emotionally close, like family members, right? And if outside people come within this space, then this can create a problem, because they will feel that they are being threatened, right? And then the style of voice, we said it's whispering, very slow. Then we saw the second context, a situation where somebody has a personal conversation, and in personal conversation they are as close as 18 inches or as far as 4 feet, right? For example, doing handshake, right, distance, and then this can be in public places among friends, and they use soft voice. Then we saw how in the social situation they can be as close as 4 feet, and they can be as distant as 12 feet, like here in classroom. So lower end is like salespeople on the counter, 4 feet or 3 feet distance, and then workers in the office or factory, right? Okay, then they use full voice as I'm using right now. Then last of all, we saw public situation where people have greater than 12 feet distance, right? Like situations like teaching in a classroom, as we are doing right now, right? For example, the distance between you and me is about 12 feet, and we're using loud voice. This was what we saw yesterday. Then we also came to paragraph 12, where we said that such glitches. So I told you that the word such, this is a continuous idea marker. This is a continuous idea marker. What is a continuous idea marker? In writing, when you have expressed an idea earlier and you want to repeat that idea again, you don't write the whole thing again. You use words like such glitches. So when you read the word such glitches, you must go back to understand what it means. Such glitches refers to space use errors in paragraph 11 and 10, where you read about how Estonians and Russians get confused, how the Caucasian teacher and the Asian student gets confused. So such glitches here refers to the example of the confusion that is created between the Estonians and the Russians, where Estonians are perceived to be cold by Russians and Russians are perceived to be pushy by Estonians, and how the Caucasian thinks the Asian student has done something wrong, and how the Asian student is misunderstood. Okay, then where that spatial behavior is automatic. What does it mean? As we grow in our culture without being aware, we unconsciously keep on understanding how people around us use space. And do you realize that nobody teaches us, but we slowly start learning what is okay and what is not okay when we are dealing with somebody in terms of space and body touch. And you know, we are so habituated about body touch and distance is that when somebody does some kind of unusual approach, so for example, if you're in a bus and somebody comes too close to you, you become quite alert. And you have a friend and he maintains a distance, you start thinking why he's maintaining distance. So when we play by rule, we don't care. But when somebody breaks rule, we are quite alert, right? We become conscious why this is happening, right? And as an example, for example, there was an example that an American might come in a lift elevator, and the American culture is that if you come inside the elevator, as an American, your job is you go in the corner and look on the ceiling, because there may be people whom you don't know and you are not supposed to have eye contact with them. This is what Americans do. Now, if you're a Nepali and you go to America and you are inside an elevator and you don't know this thing and you stay in the middle and you start staring in people's eyes. Now, if you go too close to the American, look in his eyes, he'll be alert, because he won't understand why this guy is coming too close to me, right? Then, okay. This is what we were doing yesterday. I quickly revised. Now let me move from paragraph 13. We're beginning from 13 today. So let's read quickly and understand. As I explained, your job is listen to me carefully, understand what I say, and note down. At the end of the class, your copy, your page should have a neat note of the class. Okay, do not yarn if possible. Do not yarn in my class. Okay, I do not tolerate yarning in class. I do not tolerate sleeping in class. If I feel that you are lazy, I'll be quite uncomfortable. I might scold you. I might warn you. I want you to be alert. I want to be healthy in my class. I want to be alert and sit in the right position and listen to the teacher, okay? You are not here to rest. You are here to study. Okay, so let's read first. In fact, such caution, I told you earlier in paragraph 12, such glitches, I said, is continuous idea marker. So the word such is continuous idea marker. Once again, I'm telling you, the word like such is continuous idea marker. When it says such caution, what does such caution mean? Go back to paragraph 12, you will understand here. Such caution means this. Such caution means, is this guy a pickpocket? Is he a psychotic? If no explanation seems to fit, you just think this guy is weird, I better get out of here. So the word such caution expresses the same idea as this one in previous paragraph. And in writing, when we are repeating same ideas, we don't write the full thing. We refer to them like this. And when you know what is the technique? When you use a continuous idea marker like such caution, it connects paragraph 13 with paragraph 12. Such connection creates unity in writing. Tomorrow, if you write essays in TOEFL, IELTS, or GRE, or SAT, any exams, this is what brings you our marks. If you can connect your paragraphs this way, you get better marks, right? Because this links two paragraphs. Writing is like this. Writing is like this. You can use this image. Like writing like a chain, gold chain. What is chain? This is space. This is space. This is space is such caution. Because it connects two paragraphs. And this is a very important quality of writing. All good writers have this quality of writing. Okay. In fact, such caution, I better get out of here. I have just copied. It's not in your book. It's not in your book. I just copied. Is not always unwarranted because an abnormal use of space can indicate that something odd is going on. You are in the bus or a train and the person next to your next seat keeps moving towards you and he starts brushing his body against your body. At first you think that it's because of the jolting of the bus. At first you think his body is touching me because the bus is jolting because of a bumpy road. But slowly you start understanding that this guy has ill intentions. He is trying to touch my body knowingly. And what happens? Then you know that, oh, this guy has ill intentions and I must be quite alert. This is what happened once to me. I was in a night bus. There was a guy by my side. He tried to touch my body. I had a doubt. He's a gay. And what I did? In the bus you have a divider. You have a divider. You can lift it up if you're a family member. I just dropped the divider. Then he could not come to my side. Right? Research has shown that when people with schizophrenia. What is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a mental state. It's a psychological problem. When your personality is unstable, your psychology is unstable, it's a psychological sickness, disease. Research has shown that when people with schizophrenia approach another person, they often either get closer than normal or stay unusually distant. Look here, this paragraph begins with this. What is the topic sentence here? The topic sentence in this paragraph is this one. And yesterday I told you, if you remember, in argument, topic sentences, we can say they are statements. Understand that argumentative writing stands on two legs. What are they? Statement and proof. What is a statement? You say something. You assert, you claim, you make a statement. Then the person next to you, he needs a proof. Why should I believe you? Okay, you say this thing, fine. You have the right to say, but why should I believe you? Now your job is to give the proof. If you can give a convincing proof, the guy or girl will believe you. Right? If you fail to give a convincing proof, they won't believe you. And your argument will fail. So here we have a statement. Now we need the proof. What is the statement? An abnormal use of space can indicate that something odd is going on. The writer says that if people come too close to you than normal, be alert, something is going wrong. Either he is going to attack you, kill you, harm you physically, or misbehave. Or if people have unusual distance, be alert. They are going to do something. They may be going to jump on you. Maybe they are going to throw something, an object on you. Maybe they are going to plan to do something harmful to you. This is what the statement says. Now we need the proof. I said statement, proof, right? Now proof. Now see the proof. And in academic writing is highly valued. It is highly respected. Why? Because academic writing is not based on Facebook gossip. It is not based on TikTok. It is not based on Snapchat and Instagram. It is not based on YouTube garbage. Academic writing is based on research, where people spend years reading other people's ideas, books, and they make notes. So here, look here, research has shown that. Lisa Davis does not show. Facebook post tells us that. Lisa Davis does not say. Instagram tells us that. Academic writing is not based on social media. It is based on formal research. Research has shown that when people with schizophrenia, now look, the writer brings a very typical medical term, schizophrenia. Academic writing uses formal language. You won't see any contractions in this essay. You don't say can't, you say cannot. In conversation, you say can't, won't, shan't, couldn't. But in writing, you don't say that. You say cannot, would not, will not. We use full forms. For example, I said academic writing uses very formal language. For example, you see a very formal terminology here. Approach another person, they often either get closer than normal or stay usually distant. So this sentence is a proof to support this sentence, which is a statement. Move ahead. And a small study of prisoners. Now look, she brings another, a small study. If this was a research paper, if this essay was a research paper, Lisa Davis will not say a small study. She will name the study. Because this is not a research paper exactly, so she is not naming. A small study of prisoners seemed to show that those with a history of violence needed up to 3 times the space taken by non-violent inmates. So what happens? Suppose if I am a criminal, I have the history of crime, I am in the jail. So what will happen? And if she is another inmate in the jail, now I will maintain larger distance. Why? Number one, because I have the doubt that because she is a criminal, she might attack me. So I want to make sure that there is enough space so that before she or he attacks me, I have time to move away or attack back. So I maintain a distance. Criminal people always want empty space around, because according to one theory, the closer you are to someone, the more vulnerable you become. If I am standing here, he can easily box me. Easily, I am 6 inches away. But if I am standing here, he will have to stand up and walk down to me. And I will get time to move away. That's why we maintain distance. This is about security. Right? If in a crowd, in any situation, if you are concerned about security, stay away from people. The best idea is stay away from people. The larger the distance, the safer you are. Okay, now look. She brought study of prisoners, right? Then these are reminders that the human need for space is based in an animal reality. Have you seen animals? Buffaloes, wild buffaloes, or lions. Lions, they have their own zone. If another lion gets in their pocket, they fight. Even dogs, you watch careful animals. All animals maintain a certain distance. And if they come closer, they start fighting. Ox, cows, dogs, buffaloes, elephants, tigers, lions, all animals. If 2 of them come too close, they will fight. Because, what is the point? The closer you are to a stranger, the more vulnerable you may be. He is a stranger outside in the public place, I don't know him. And if I am closer to him, I am more vulnerable. He may have a knife. He may stab me. He may have a gun. He may shoot me. He may be powerful. He may just hit me if I'm closer. But if I maintain distance, I'll be safe. So this is, now look, another reason why and how people use space is the safety concern. The safety concern. Those people who want to be safe, they maintain larger distance. So look, this paragraph, once again before I move to next paragraph, let me wrap up. This was the statement. Abnormal use of space can indicate something odd is going on. Now, statement proof 1. Proof 1. Then proof 2. Then conclusion. See the structure of writing this paragraph. Statement, sentence 1, right? Sentence 2, proof 1. Sentence 3, proof 2. Sentence 4, conclusion. This is a typical structure of a paragraph, normal paragraph. The paragraph starts with a statement, claim, topic sentence. Then the writer brings two proof to support the claim. Then the writer ends the paragraph with a conclusion. What conclusion? That these are reminders. Look here. When the writer says these, this is called continuous idea marker. These means this one, and these means this one. So the pronoun these refers to this research and this study. These are the reminders that the human need for space is based in an animal reality. Now if I was a student like you reading this essay, I will note down this thing. I'll note down. Because this is important fact. As we read, our job is, if there is important fact in a paragraph, note down. Right? Okay. The closer you allow a stranger, the more vulnerable you become. And do you see the last sentence echoes the first sentence. If you see, look how writing is circular. This last sentence, the closer you allow a stranger, the more vulnerable you become. Last sentence, first sentence, abnormal use of space indicates something odd is going on. Do you see? The opening sentence and the last sentence have same meaning. This is the concluding sentence. So your conclusion echoes or repeats your opening sentence. This is called circular quality of writing. Good writing is like a ring, like a circle. What does it mean? It ends where it began. This paragraph began with this idea of abnormal space, ends with same idea of abnormal space. Okay. Now move to paragraph 14 and read. But the spatial differences among cultures point to something beyond self-protection. Now do you see, paragraph 13 talked about self-protection and said that people maintain distance because of the reason of self-protection. Right? Now this sentence, self-protection, in paragraph 13, it does not use the same word. Let me show you. Let me show you. See what is the quality of good writing. Here you have the word self-protection, right? Now this idea of self-protection is where? Okay. One, more vulnerable you are. So the opening sentence of paragraph 14 has the word self-protection, which has same idea as the closing sentence of paragraph 13. This word self-protection refers to this idea. And such a reference is called coherence and unity in writing. This is a very good quality in good writing. And when you are writing a such quality, you get more marks. This is called unity in writing. This, as I told you earlier, two paragraphs are woven like a chain. What is the chain that is binding together? This phrase in paragraph 14, which has same idea as this phrase in paragraph 13, this sentence in paragraph 13. I'm focusing so minutely on every detail in this essay. I won't do this in other essays because I want to teach you all the things about academic writing, because our course is about academic writing. Okay, this English course is about academic writing. That's why I'm explaining every nitty-gritty. But the special differences among cultures point to something beyond self-protection. What is that? Anthropologist Edward Hall. This is maybe second or third time she is referring this guy. A very famous professor, researcher, author, writer. Academic writing uses scholarly sources. Lisa Davis could have said, according to a Twitter post in 2009. But she doesn't do that, because something coming from Twitter or Facebook is not reliable. Anthropologist Edward Hall suggests that our culture's use of space is also evidence of a reliance on one sense over another. In paragraph 13, she said culture's use of space is based on security issue. Culture's use of space is based on security issue. And she gave two examples. One, schizophrenia, where people have too close or too distant. Second, prisoners, where they have longer distance, larger distance. Now she says, another reason why people use space differently is what? Reliance on one sense over another. Now this one, the yellow highlighted area, this is statement or claim. This is a statement or claim. And this sentence, okay. Now, what do you need after a statement? You need proof. You need proof. Now check the proof. Middle Easterners get much of their information through their senses of smell and touch, he says, which require a close approach. Americans rely primarily on visual information backing up in order to see an intelligible picture. So what is this doing in this paragraph? The writer is, in this paragraph, the writer is comparing the Arabian people with the American people. And she says that the Arabian people rely on smell and touch to understand the environment, whereas American people rely on sense of sight. Now if I can understand you better through touch and smell, I need to come closer to you as I talk to you. Only being closer, I can smell and I can touch you and know who you are, how you are. Arabian people, that's why Arabian people come as close as they can smell each other's breath, or they might spit on each other's face, they don't mind. Americans do not rely on touch and smell. They rely on sense of sight. So what do? They back up. They back up. In camera, use the camera focus. If you use this button, for example, look here, it is zooming in now. It is zooming in. You are getting closer. Opposite to it, now it is zooming out. It is zooming out. So Americans zoom out. If I am this close to her, I can't study her as an American. I must go back so that as I go back, my eyes have a broader angle view. If I'm here, for example, if I'm here, I have the best, widest view of this class. So as an American, I'll be here to have very wide view and see everything. If I come too close like this, I won't be able to see this person now. I can't see them. I can see only these people. Right? So, why people come too close and why people stay too far away depends on what sense they use to study the environment and gather information. Example, Arabian people use sense of touch and smell, so they come too close. Americans use sense of sight, they stay far away. Statement, proof. Second thing in this paragraph, if you see carefully, this paragraph compares. So, the structure of this paragraph is comparison contrast. Comparison contrast. In this paragraph, the writer compares the Arabian cultures with American culture. So, the paragraph has comparison contrast structure. Okay.